Tackle junkies, what's going on, fellas? I'm going to tell you guys today how the amount of line you put on your spool could affect your gear ratio. Stay tuned. Really appreciate you guys clicking on the video. If you haven't seen my last video, definitely check it out. I'll link it down below. I was fishing with my wife. Pretty funny video. A lot of you guys are digging that video. If you want to see her in future videos, let me know down below. If you haven't seen the video before that, I was spooling up a baitcaster, start to finish, all the tips and tricks in between. You guys are digging that video as well. And I was going through the comments, and one comment really stood out to me that I wanted to answer in a video. All right, it was from, let's see here, it was from Cha Vang. Hopefully I said your name correctly. So just a question, if the point of having braid as a backing is to lighten the spool to increase casting distance a little bit, wouldn't it be more beneficial to just spool less line? Less line means less material, which equals less weight, especially since you're already spooling, less fluoro since you have the backing on. I'm just wondering what the true benefit of the backing is. Great question. Okay. Now, I said this in many videos. I do have quite a few videos on this subject. Backing is just filler. Okay, let's say your reel holds 120 yards of 12-pound test fluorocarbon. Okay, we cannot cast that far, right? You're only going to use maybe the top 60% of the line you put on, right? Okay, below that is just filler because you don't want to fish with a spool that's not filled up, okay? So you do need your line up to where it needs to be, right below the bevel, okay? So if you put on 40, 50, 60 yards, whatever it is, okay, your spool's too low. So you need that backing or that filler to get your line up again to where it needs to be. Okay, a low spool, for one, it's going to affect your casting distance. But two, what it really affects is your gear ratio. Okay, the easiest way to explain this, let's say you got a dime, which would represent, a low spool. Let's say you got a quarter, which would represent a full spool. Go ahead and mark a little like dot on them for your starting point. If you roll the dime, roll the quarter is going to move further because it's bigger. Okay, that's pretty much what your spool is doing. When you only have on, let's say, 60 yards on here, you make a 40-yard cast. Well, your spool is so small, when you start to crank, okay, you done lost your gear ratio because you don't have enough line on the spool. I believe that's even why Quantum, I think they even make wider spools now and much deeper, the way you can put more line on them. That way when you bomb a cast out there deep cranking, you still have a pretty full spool and you don't lose your gear ratio. So when you're spooling up, if you don't want to use backer, don't. If you want to put on 120 yards or whatever your spool holds the fluorocarbon, go ahead. Again, that's just wasting line. That is the point of backer, so you don't waste line, waste money. But whatever you do, make sure you fill up your spool. Here's a good example here of a full spool. You'll see the blue bevel there, and then you'll see just a little bit of black. That's where you want to have it. You don't want to overfill and you don't want to underfill. If you overfill, you got to think you don't have a whole lot of space here between the line and the back of the line guide. Okay, so if you put too much line on there, that's even that much less space to have. So when you make a cast, that's a lot of line with very little space trying to rush through that little hole that causes a backlash. So again, don't underspool, but don't overspool either. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys on the next one.